Hi, everybody. This is Alan Fine, and I'm here with Tim Vetter, who's with Frosh. Wave, please. I'm here with the memory maker, Jim Drennan of Cruising with the Drennans, and Jody Kenner with Affinity Travel and Events. And we've all been on Virgin Voyages' first ship, the Scarlet Lady. And the point of us getting together here is to talk about the ship, Virgin Voyages, and the product and how to sell them on this special episode of Insider Travel Report. So first of all, why don't you guys just give us a little, line about yourself and your agency. Let's start with Kim.
Hi, I'm Kim Vetter. I'm the Vice President of the Leisure Department at Lex Travel in Orange County.
That was good and quick. Let's do the same for who's next, Jim.
Hi, this is Jim Drennan. I'm the Chief Memory Maker at Cruising with the Drennans, travel agency that's focused on cruising.
And last but not least, Jody.
Hey, I'm Jody Kenner, and I am travel and event specialist and also the owner of Affinity Travel and Events, and my primary is leisure group.
And as I said, you've all been on Scarlet Lady on the inaugural, I guess, U.S. trip. Is that true?
Yes.
So how did you guys feel in terms, we have to, the obligatory quick COVID moment. How was it handled on the ship? Could each of you quickly give me a thumbnail?
Excellent.
Great.
Excellent.
I mean, we were all vaccinated and they tested us before we got on.
Right. Kim?
Yeah, it was great because everyone had to be vaccinated, including the staff.
Right. And Jody?
And they tested us right before, so I didn't even see a mask the whole time we were on there. It was beautiful.
Masks.
Mm-hmm.
So wait, so they didn't require you to wear masks as you're walking around?
No.
No.
Okay. All right.
Nowhere. Once we got out of the Miami port, we had to there because of it's a part of their rules, but once you got on the ship, out.
And because there's no actual buffet, I mean, it's the galley, food was handed to you for the most part.
It was served to you at your table, actually.
Okay. Let's move on. Do you guys mind being called first mates?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I love it.
Because that's the travel advisor name they gave you. So now let's talk about, to help others understand how to start to sell the product, let's talk about firstmates.com. Do you use it?
Yes. I use it. And I'm going to tell you about First Mate. First Mate is, it really does, it explains everything about the cruise, the product, the ports are sustainable ports. The shore excursions are not called shore excursions. They are called
Shore Things.
Shore Things. They do a beautiful job. They're not overly priced, but you learn all about that on the Sea Academy, and
which is on firstmates.com.
On firstmates.com. Yeah.
And Sea Academy is Sea Academy. It's where you learn, right?
Yeah.
And as you learn, you can earn the right to things. Aren't there bonuses? Can you talk about that a little?
That's how we all got on the cruise, I would say, is if you did it in a certain time, you got the cruise.
We were revenue passengers, but
as a revenue, it's only like average $400 a day for two people to be on this cruise. Like it's crazy.
They want travel advisors to experience this because as I'm hearing, you really need to sell it the best, right?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
And what about the sales team? How are you working with your guys and gals?
Amazing.
From day one, we have the best sales team. Before Virgin even came out with the baby and knew what it was going to be called and named, they had a sales team and just so passionate.
And they actually came to Lexington, Kentucky, which nobody does. Nobody. Rosalind, I have to give a shout out to Rosalind because she tries really hard to solve problems. She's very proactive. She answers questions immediately, even in the middle of the night, which I wish she actually wouldn't do. But she's a pro through and through. And you can tell she speaks the language. She loves the brand and you can tell it. Okay.
So you feel like Virgin is reaching out and coddling you and making it even easier to do your own job.
Yes.
That's great.
Well, the thing that I appreciated through the pandemic was, if you consider what the kind of the trade was doing at that point. I think that the nice thing is when I call Virgin, I may get put on hold for as long as half an hour.
Well, all cruise lines.
Right. But the point is when they come back, A, there's a solution. And B, the solution always errs on the side of doing the right thing for both the sailor and the first mate.
That's good to hear.
And I can say honestly that they treated me better than any of my other suppliers. The Sea Blazers promotion is something that is a great selling tool. What they're doing for anyone who sails in 2021, you're officially a Sea Blazer.
A revenue passenger who sails in 2021.
A revenue passenger, not travel advisors sailing for free. And what that gives you is two things: a discount on a cruise next year, $300. And on the bar tab, normally they'll say if you get a $300 bar tab, you get a $50 bump on that. Every once in a while, they do a promotion where it's $75 or $100. For life, every $300 bar tab gets a $125 kicker. For us as travel agents, what Judy and I are doing is when we have a circle or a group of people on board, what we're doing is using that as an easy way to have a little cocktail party. You can just say, hey, let's everybody meet down at On the Rocks, have my bracelet, and it's a great way to take care of your guests.
I have 4 circles set up after this being back for 3 weeks. I have 4 circles set up and cabins sold in all of them because I just love so much how they treat it, what they do, how they treat us, how they treat the sailors. I just love the whole thing so much that it'll be probably my go-to for the majority of the people.
And can we talk about the commission? The commission.
That was a recourse for them. They redid that because I think they realized that people weren't happy, which honestly.
Wait. So explain in detail. It was one way, and then
it was 10% of everything.
Right.
When they first started, no non-commissionable fares, 10% of everything, which already at the end of the day, if you were selling shore things, drink, bar tabs, all of the stuff that you would normally pre-sell still came out to a higher commission than the 16% we might receive from someone else on only the commissionable fare. Then they went, okay, you guys spoke, we will listen, which I think they do a lot. And they gave us 16% on the cruise fare. And there's no non-commissionable cruise fare. So it's on the whole thing, except for maybe like a 6% sales tax or whatever. And then you still get 10% on bar tab, shore things, sailor loot, anything that you book ahead. So
and
I have a New Year's Eve
Jim
cruise.
said air.
Yes. Air, hotel. So I have a New Year's Eve cruise that it's $5,200 for a suite, which already is incredible. And then I sold them a bar tab and I sold them some sailor loot and some shore things. And at the end of the day, it was about a $1,700 commission. And if I did it on another brand, it would be about $750. I mean, those numbers just kind of speak for themselves. Travel agents are crazy. Advisors are nuts if they don't sell this product because it's very profitable and it's very easy to sell if you have the right clients to be their sailors. And I think everybody has at least some.
Mm-hmm.
So who are the right and the wrong guests for a Virgin voyage?
I honestly don't think that the right or wrong guest has as much to do with age, gender, anything like that. I really think it has a lot more to do with the state of mind and how you feel about things and what you're looking for. And I don't think that, and I think they're also realizing that the traditional cruiser is not necessarily the wrong guest for them because there are plenty of us who are looking for a different kind of cruise experience depending on our mood, who's going. I do think the first time cruiser is good because sometimes they're hesitant to get on a 7-day when they've never done it before. And they have so many short itineraries that are awesome. So I think
I would think if you had a client who's an all-inclusive, you could bring them over easily too.
I have that for the New Year's cruise. I have several in our circle who are, doing that, because that's one of my niches is all inclusive. And it's more about, do you like to have a good time? You have to be open-minded to things. Do you need an escape almost from like what life is about? Because when you're on that ship, you're kind of not thinking about what is going on at home as much. It kind of helps to erase that. And I struggle with that a lot on other vacations. And so there's a lot different questions you have to ask of a client. So for me, it's been like, I feel like this might be a virgin client. And then I ask those questions and find out that indeed they probably are. So it's not something I'll mass market. It's something I might mass market like at a very niche festival or something like that when I go. It's something I'll do for circles, but it's not something I'll just put on my Facebook and go, hey, everybody, this is your cruise line, because it's not. It's definitely a niche kind of a thing. Like Regent Seven Seas is also not for everyone. And a river cruise is also not for everyone. So we're going to have to qualify in the same ways with this, because there is a real possibility of getting someone on there who would be very disappointed in what happens and what goes on. And so I think that this is not a sign up online and book this cruise. It's a conversation and a qualification for sure. Jim. And I think that the agents that you find, I think the people you find who are not happy with the product that they sell other people because they haven't done that work and just really having the conversation, getting to know deep down what their client's looking for. But I think that there are so many possibilities of people who will love this cruise line, whether it's a foodie, a bourbon enthusiast, a tequila enthusiast, someone who wants to escape, somebody who is just never going to be kids, empty nesters. I mean, the demographic is very wide, but I don't think it's as much as how old are you, what color are you, who do you date? I don't think it's that. I think it's how do you feel, what's your frame of mind, what do you like to do?
But as long as you're also open.
You have to be a very open-minded person for it, because you will see things that you're going to be like, oh, okay. Well, I made a joke to somebody yesterday. They're probably never going to port out of Galveston, Texas. This is, it might not be the right demographic for them.
And the fact you can plan and get a tattoo is very different.
Yes. That line was ridiculously long the whole entire time we were there. And I was just like, this seems crazy to me, but hey, to each their own.
Jim, who's right and the wrong guest for this?
So I think that there's a couple of elements. And again, it's a little more nuanced conversation. To me, I can look at somebody who enjoys the food, for example, on like a celebrity, on the higher end cruise lines, the food, but the inclusions make it such a good value that if I've got somebody that's looking to not have to spend a lot of extra money, that's awesome too.
I love that they say internet is the right of every sailor, right?
It's a human right, they say. I don't know if I'd go that far, but it is nice to not have to, usually when that conversation comes up, I'm trying to juggle whether I'm getting the soda package with the internet or pricing them separately. Here, I didn't have to do either. The clients I'd steer away. If it's somebody that's going to be easily offended and not be able to just kind of roll with the cheekiness, if you will. But I found that to be actually helpful to my sales. I made, so Abby, the hostess, for the folks watching this who don't know, is a big girl. She's voluptuous. And she's really confident about her body. And I made her Instagram feed. She took a picture. Actually, my wife took the picture. And one of my clients, who happens to be a guest of size, called me up and she said, Jim, if that woman can feel that body positive and that comfortable, book me in December. I want to go for my birthday.
Wow. All right. So Virgin tells us they deconstructed the whole cruise experience and then put it back together the Virgin way. So what are the differences from a traditional ship and how do you market that? Let's start this time with Jody.
The restaurants. My goodness, the food on there was like in a gourmet restaurant in New York City. It was not anything like a cruise kitchen, from the spaces to the actual food itself. were just all phenomenal. The restaurants were unique. They had unexpected, I think we had said earlier, bourbon selections, tequila selections. They actually had a mezcal and varieties. And so the culinary experience for me was definitely unlike cruising.
Okay. Kim?
No, I really think the same thing. It's almost like you're not on a cruise ship. It's like you're sitting at a resort in the Caribbean and you have your room and you get to make reservations for the afternoon. You get to make reservations for breakfast. Anytime you want to dine, it's there for you. And
but isn't that the same on other ships? What was the difference there?
Well, the other ships have those really big dining halls and dining rooms. And these are very small and intimate with beautiful food. I mean, plated like you're at a high-end restaurant. And every kitchen was different and unique. So it wasn't like a cookie cutter. It didn't look like it all came from the same kitchen.
Jim, what did you think? What are the differences from traditional ships?
Well, there were a couple of elements. Personally, I've been sober for 31 years, and I happen to be married to somebody who can sit and enjoy a glass of bourbon that she sips neat. Normally on a cruise ship, I have to get a soda package. I'm a travel advisor, so I've got to buy the Wi-Fi. Always want to pay for a specialty restaurant. All those things were included. And, you know, people talking about the food, just really quick, dinner in the steakhouse, hamachi crudo and bone marrow. They had other appetizers, but those were my two. I had a filet mignon with bone marrow béarnaise. Now, who says béarnaise isn't rich enough? Let's take the butter out and use bone marrow. And then, you know, normally when you look at a steakhouse, the side dishes, the mushrooms, there were like 5 different kinds of mushrooms, and they were cooked in brown butter. And when I ordered the cheesecake for dessert, it was a Meyer lemon cheesecake, and I was expecting this perfect wedge with they put a plate in front of me that had a lemon on it. The cheesecake was in a shell that looked like a lemon. My wife summed it up best. Judy said to me, she goes, you know, we've gone to steakhouses on land where we paid $150 and been a lot less happy.
I got to tell you, you know, when I was speaking with Tom McLaughlin about, you know, when they ran the first set of cruising out of England, I said, so what was the thing that was rated the highest? I mean, because my question to you was open. It was what are the differences from traditional ships? And you went right to the food, and so did the Brits. They said the food is unbelievable.
Yeah. You don't get that on all cruise lines. Well, I think also the shows. I mean, they were small, intimate. Like we had 50 to 100 people per show instead of 1,500 people at a show.
Now, was that in the Red Room?
That was in the Red Room.
Well, let's explain that. What is the Red Room? Let people know what that is.
The Red Room is an event space that changes. They can change the configuration for any kind of show.
So like the big theaters that we're used to in cruise lines, instead it's a multi-purpose room that can be that or something else?
Correct. And they do all kinds of things. We didn't see a lot. I saw one called a show called Dual Reality, and it was like
acrobats. I heard.
Yeah, but it was like a new age West Side Story.
Yeah. Excuse me.
It was like a West Side Story.
So there was a story to the acrobats.
It was almost the mix between Romeo and Juliet and West Side Story, kind of pulled together in this acrobatic, really fun, audience engaged. Yeah, the audience were part of the show, and that was nice too. Yeah. And you could do that because of, as she said, it was so small.
Mm-hmm. And I heard that they changed its alignment 3 times, so you have 3 different feelings when you go in there. Is that true?
Yeah. So if you go, like I know here at Rep Arena, if you pull out, if you go in, you can have the whole big space. Or if you have concert, there are bleachers that pull out from the wall. And that's how the seating was there. It was seats that could be pushed into the wall, or they could all be pulled out so that it was, so you actually had seating, or you had just a big dance floor, or you had, you know, whatever it is you needed to be. So it was a very cool space. You definitely would not call it a theater.
No. And you're right in front of the action. Like they're acting right in front of you. You don't see a whole bunch of heads.
Yeah. You know. Jim, what did you think of that? What do you think of the entertainment on the ship?
You know, Dual Reality it was a show that was surprising. It was, again, as Jody mentioned, you know, there was some sort of audience participation, and the entertainment on the ship is different. Like Abby, the hostess, just pops up singing in different places. And
I did hear they had some pop-up entertainers.
Mm-hmm.
What was that, Jody?
They had mermaids in a swimming pool for part of it. That's mermaids at the port.
And I understand that was only for the opening, but I might be keeping it for a while.
You know, another thing that struck me, and some people have commented they didn't like this, but I thought it was great, is they don't have ship photographers.
Mm-hmm.
Because
or announcements.
How funny.
Right. And because the approach is they want it to be an Instagrammable experience, mm-hmm. anybody on the ship will gladly take your phone or camera and take your picture. Mm-hmm. So instead of signing up for the $300 picture package, you go home, you've got your pictures, you can go print off the ones you like at CVS or Walgreens. And that was really refreshing to me, because I'm not a big fan of, okay, could you two scooch it? Right. And honestly, when you talk about the restaurants being, they said their goal was to have the restaurants be like a restaurant on land.
Mm-hmm. Right. They were.
And it was my 57th cruise. And I have to be honest with you, that was the biggest thing I was skeptical about.
Yeah.
Because, you know, when you've been on so many cruises, you can kind of see, you just notice things. It felt like a steakhouse on land. And the best thing is the portions, they tend to go a little smaller. But instead of well, let me order 2 or 3 of these, what they do is they come up. Like, we were an extra virgin, and my wife ordered the gnocchi, which she said were like 8 little pillows of love.
They were pillows. They were pillows.
And she finished it, and he walked up and he goes, you know, it looks like you really hated that. Why don't I get you another serving so that you can be sure you hated it? What that did was it took away any embarrassment you'd have about wanting to order more, but by serving the smaller portions, they were wasting so much less food than cruise ships normally do.
That is what I heard, is that also in the galley, which is which would normally be the buffet, but it's not. It's all fresh cooked. And because it's served, they are actually saving, there's less waste.
Yep.
Well, just everything. It was when you got salads to go, or you got your coffee cup to go, it was in recycled paper, not paper products. It was like plant-based products or what have you. No.
So,
and I have to say one more thing. I took my 82-year-old aunt with me as my guest, so I could see both of our views on the product.
So that was the child you brought. It's adults only. Yeah, you brought the 82-year-old.
She was more of a child than I, that's for sure.
The fact that it's an adults only ship, that's I remember a long time ago when it was first floated, pun intended, it was like, what are they thinking? But now it seems like, what a great idea. Are you feeling that way?
The adult only?
Mm-hmm.
It's the first thing I latched onto.
Mm-hmm. So I think that's where, you know, when you talk about selling it, there was a little bit of a cognitive dissonance between what Virgin originally, I think, was targeting as their audience. I think they were going after a younger, perhaps hipper crowd. Of course, because it's Virgin, they embrace diversity. So it's popular with the LGBTQ plus community. But I have to say, when people who love to cruise here, adults only, the Branson name. They ended up with, I believe they told, the last I heard, the average age of the guest is 48 years old. So what you're seeing is a lot of people that I think they have a different demographic than they were originally targeting. And I think they're adjusting to that. You know, and sometimes because of the cheekiness, as they like to refer to it, the quality of things just gets lost. Like, everybody laughs when you talk about going for a sundae at Lick Me Till Ice Cream. Enunciate clearly. But forget the name. They have 6 different flavors of waffle cup.
Right. Right.
So I'm walking around with a red velvet cone with a brown butter ice cream in it.
That's exactly what I had, Jim.
Me too.
Jody?
It was destiny. It was
destiny.
destiny.
And so, you know, I think some people get lost in the surface stuff and just miss that underlying quality. It's everywhere.
But now, how do you sell this? Do you sell this? Is it luxury? Is it premium? Is it maybe relaxed luxury? What is it?
It's in a class of its own, I think. I don't think it fits into any of that.
Yeah, that's a hard one. I'm kind of thinking it's more of relaxed. It's almost a mid type of ship. I don't think of it as luxury unless I was in one of those rock suites, or, you know, those were like incredible. It's just about the details. They have really finessed the details, but is details luxury? I don't know.
Well, that's the problem. Luxury can be just that they make it so you can do whatever you want at any time. And that's, to some people, that's luxury.
Right.
Jim, what do you think? Is it luxury? Is it premium? Is it relaxed luxury? Is there a new term you can make up?
Well, I'm not that creative, but to me, so first of all, if I have a client who's a foodie, book them.
Foodie.
You know, I mean, that's a 3-inch putt. The element of the quality involved, you know, there's some subtleties to it. Like the fact that they don't have a beverage package is appealing on a couple of levels. How many times have we as travel advisors had to make the call to Royal Caribbean or one of the other cruise lines and say, I have a guest who's pregnant, but her husband wants the liquor package. You know, and that's fine. But the fact that you don't have anybody who is on board trying to drink their value from the liquor package. Now, were there some people who were over enjoying themselves?
Yeah, but very little.
Yeah,
exactly.
It was not belligerence at all, really.
Exactly. And so, you know, to me, it's about the food. It's about the quality. You know, we were kind of joking about bourbon earlier. In On the Rocks, which kind of has sort of a Mad Men era vibe to it, in the well, the speed well that they use for drinks, the bourbon was Buffalo Trace.
Yeah.
You know,
you can't really even find on many other ships at all, or even in many land restaurants right now.
And if you look at the Bourbon List that they had, I was at a steakhouse here in Cleveland the other night, and they had Blanton's bourbon, which was $24 for a shot. On the Scarlet Lady, it was $22, and they had it. So there's the element of, if you really want that elevated experience, it's all there. On the other hand, if you want to go sit by the pool and sip pina coladas, you can do that too. And
well, actually,
really good.
The best thing was reading a book in the hammock.
Yes.
On balcony.
Yes.
So the hammocks are winners.
Hammocks by far. I wish they had 2, because
it would be nice to have 2.
It would be nice to have 2 and get rid of the chairs. Except my aunt had a hard time at 82 trying to get into the hammock. But I want one of those. I want.
I went to the Virgin store looking to see if I could buy one, and they didn't have them.
No, these are all comments that should be brought up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And Kim, just so you know, if you book a seriously aft suite, that has 2 hammocks.
Okay, well, everything was sold out when I booked my cruise for all the suites. I would have gladly booked a suite because it was just so amazing. And my aunt had never sailed. She has never been on a cruise line. So she can't wait to bring her friends. She goes, is this what cruise is? I'm like, no, this is not.
Right, so that's interesting because Virgin wanted to bring new to cruise and they were hoping their name would do that. So is that what's going to happen? Is that what you're sensing?
Yeah, I think people who are afraid to go on a cruise or say, I'm not a cruise person. You know, we get a lot of those clients. I'm not a cruise person. Mm-hmm. And then we got them to start doing river cruises, right? Those people who are not cruise people will go on a river cruise. Well, now we have another type of product. And they're, I would love to do the European one, but this one was the Caribbean, and we went to Nassau, which you could take it or leave it. I'm sorry, it's just not my cup of tea, but however, then we went to Bimini Island, and they have the most outstanding Bimini, what is it called, guys?
The Beach Club.
Beach Club. And we were only about 60% on the cruise, but if we added the other 40% that didn't get to sail, there was still
plenty of room.
So much room, plenty of room for everybody. There was food, there was the service, 2 giant pools with a DJ. And my aunt was sitting there in the pool dancing, having a ball sitting next to the mermaids.
How did you? Jody, what did you think of Bimini?
So we didn't actually go to Bimini until the late afternoon because the cruise line had a fully scheduled day on the ship that was not bingo. And so we actually did shots for shots that day. And it was a very cool, Jim mentioned they like things to be Instagram worthy. It was a mixology class, and they then taught you how to take pictures with your phone that were Insta worthy. And I mean, I got some of the most amazing pictures from it. And his wife, Judy got some of the same. And it was just such a fun thing. Normally, if you're going to stay on the ship, which as Kim said, take it or leave it on Nassau. And there are so many people who feel that way. When they changed our New Year's Eve cruise to Nassau again, I went, but we'll just stay on board because the lineup that they have on board that day
was pretty good.
Was so good that there was plenty to do. And I didn't feel like I was struggling to find things. And then we went on to Bimini. We walked around. I think it had probably cleared out. Some of the food was gone, things like that. But the bonfire that they had that night were absolutely beautiful. They were these big rustic wrought iron globes, huge, that they just lit up one by one. There were 3 of them, and it was phenomenal. So we stayed for that on Bimini. And I like that you could be there so late. So you didn't feel like you had to get off, get your stuff done, check it out, do everything you could do, and then get back on, because we were literally there for 13 or 14 hours. So I didn't feel like I had to rush off. So Bimini was beautiful. The beach club was beautiful. We are not necessarily huge sun people. We like the evenings better. And we had a lot of fun on the ship that day because there was so much cool stuff to do.
So let me ask you this. So Jim, did you get to Bimini? And also, how did you feel, Jim, about everything's got a wink and everything has been rethought. These events on the ship, I feel like they've probably got that Virgin spin. So did you do some events on the ship? And then also tell me about Bimini.
So as far as the events on the ship, I have absolutely no photographic talent. And since I don't drink, my wife, Judy, actually was in the class with Jody for the shots for shots. They made cocktails. They took pictures. And it was, really a fine experience. Some of the pop-up entertainment on the Scarlet night, they have a whole story behind that. And they have people that are popping up all over the place singing old sea songs.
Yeah.
As far as Bimini, the one thing that jumps out, well, there are 2 things. One is the entire staff for the beach club is from the ship.
Mm-hmm.
So before 10 in the morning, there's not much happening yet because they're still setting up. They let you off the ship right when we dock. But if you beat the crew there, it's a little quiet. But having said that, if you think about the private islands of the other cruise lines, the fact that this was adults only,
mm-hmm.
it just had such a different vibe to it.
It was South Beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't feel like you had to behave as much because of you had little eyes watching.
Exactly. And, you know, they had some cute things like the swing set that was actually in the ocean. So a lot of people, speaking of Instagram worthy, were out in the swings with their cameras. And
this is more examples of the rethink of
yes.
virginization of all these things.
Yes.
Yes.
We're talking about entertainment. We're talking about food. Which is it? When you shake for champagne, is it entertainment or is it food? So let's talk about that for a moment.
It is both. It's exciting. You could just be sitting. We were sitting on a.
Wait, explain what it is.
Oh, okay. So my aunt didn't know anything about this, and we were sitting there at the pool, and I took my phone and I shaked it, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And within 5 minutes, I had a bucket of champagne and 2 glasses sitting there waiting for us, and we had the best time.
But you can do that with the food too. You can have it delivered anywhere on the ship that you want to.
Wherever you are, they know where you are because of your bracelet.
It's not just champagne. It's it's everything you can do that with.
Yes.
But the shake for champagne is pretty ingenious, I think, for a lot of different.
And unique.
Well, we need some other hand motions for like, what do you do for a steak and what do you do for a hamburger? And what?
No, I don't know. Wait.
You push a button.
Oh, if you want fish, there should be I want shrimp and lobster.
I want shrimp. Yeah.
Anyway, guys.
I think they make you moo if you want a steak. You have to into your phone go moo. And then
But this is the kind of thing that Virgin is always thinking about, which is really interesting.
And they listen to the things we say and they course correct accordingly, which I also love about them. They they think we're the experts. They believe that we're the experts and they listen to what we have to say.
Before we go, we go out to over 90,000 travel advisors every morning. Just give us your summary on Virgin Voyages. Who wants to start?
For any guest that is looking for an adults-only experience, loves good food and good drink, they're going to have a great time. You're going to get great satisfaction. And the way that Virgin handles things is once a client is my client, if they book when they're on board, it comes back to us. They really don't try. You know, I had the concerns. Other cruise lines have been known to try and go direct with customers. They're not doing that to us. And the combination of being able to make good commission and keeping my customers,
They know, and we certainly experienced this as we talked about it for the last hour. They know that this product it needs someone knowledgeable about it to sell it.
They value us as agents, as advisors.
That's why they're not going to go around you.
Right.
As their first mate. We are their first mates.
Yeah.
So now
that's a partner, if you ask me.
Okay, Jody.
Virgin Voyages is a unique experience for anybody who's looking for something a little different than any other vacation type, not just a cruise. And you, as an advisor, can not only do less work, but make more money when you sell them. And as long as you prepare your clients well for what to expect, have ecstatic sailors when they come home.
That's great. Kim?
Yeah, no, Virgin Voyage, especially the Scarlet lady, is just a gem. She's seductive. She's fun. She's laid back. She's hip. And you make some good commission and have a satisfied customer when they return.
Well, you guys, thank you for this deep dive in the travel advisor's view of Virgin Voyages and specifically Scarlet Lady. Thank you so much.
Thank you
for having us. Absolutely.
And this is Alan Fine for Insider Travel Report.